Hey, welcome to the Dream Labs, the Dr. Contrast Live. I hope everybody's doing well. Just a little fun here. Before I start, I just want to make a quick announcement. My apologies for not being live streaming on this past Tuesday. I had a series of appointments I had to take care of and meetings, and got those things out of the way. And I really regret the fact that I ran out of time and did not notify anybody about the fact that I could not go live on Tuesday. So my apologies. But I want to make up some time today by doing some things that I have a lot of fun with, and I hope that you shall as well. There's something magical about laying down just line work with a pen or a pencil and just going through the imagination of developing shape and surfaces or forms, looking for newness or some fresh ways of looking at certain things. And then there's just I can't describe to you how much what a fascination it is for me to go through this stuff. Yeah, you make mistakes and some work and some don't, but that's not the point. The point is for all of us to explore the fact that there's a lot of newness out there, a lot of freshness out there, and just take a moment here and from time to time and pull back on all the fluff of vanilla work and rendering materials, for example, pastel marker, watercolor, whatever it may be, and just sit down with an open mind and begin to just develop certain shapes and forms and go through the process of looking for a little bit of newness or a tweak here and there. So I'm going to spend some time to do some just wristwatch elevation studies, just a wristband, not really doing any rendering work. I'm going to look at a new way of perhaps a new shape or a new icon or form to work with, and we're all familiar with the fact that it's rectangular, whether it's vertical or horizontal or circular, some little beveled shapes and the like, but not a lot of exploratory work being done in shape analysis. And I just thought I'd take a moment here today and fire through some things and just go through the ballpoint pen and just spend some time with very typical sketches. So let's get it started. Again, keep in mind the purpose for today's stream is just to look at exploratory work and open up the doors and the floodgates of what ifs and how comes, and let's see what happens as a result of that. But I think the real important lesson behind all of this is, if there's anything I'd like to have you watch or focus in on, is how very lucid I'm going to become and how very freewheeling I'm going to become. I'm not going to pin things down. I'm going to just explore, and not pin anything down, but just look at a certain format in terms of, this is interesting, let's play on that theme. This is interesting, let's kind of magnify that theme. Let's go through the process of just opening it all up and not being so restrictive. So here we go. Let's just kind of get started with a little bit of frame. I'm just going to come through it. Just come right back down and just open it up a little bit, rectangular thing first, then begin to crown it. Again, notice really, look how careful I am. Just really being careful about making sure these lines all kind of jibe in there. Now, the same thing on that side. On that side, let's come back through and just split it. Let's come back through and split it here. Just drive through it a little bit. Just a bit of a center line in this guy. Draw through it a little bit of a notch in this thing. That might be a winding system of some sort. I don't know. Let's put that in place there. There's one in there. Let's come back here and open up a little bit more of maybe a dial of some sort. This might be an RPM piece of some sort. Just a nice little indication of centerline graphics. And let's just open this thing up a little bit more. And maybe put a little bit more fluid in this. Just maybe take that back and take that back and just give it more detail. Maybe a little bit of recess in there. Let's kind of tone that in. Just kind of tone that in. And let it go at that, and then just come back in maybe to indicate where maybe the strap might come into play, and maybe it's right about in there, and just let that go. A little indication of where that's going to happen, just a little bit of tone work to kind of let that fly through there, and then through here. Maybe it's a compass of some sort, I don't know, a little bit of time frame here. Again, notice, just looking at shape, surface, a little bit of time in here, but it's got to project that through just a bit and see where that falls into place. And there it is, a little bit of an indication of strap indication, and there it is. Again, there's phase one. Just really, again, notice, just exploring through shape and just looking at surfaces and developing what the forms might look like. Let's go back over here. Let's go back and just open it up. Let's explore that a little bit further. What if we took that same basic theme, open it up just a bit, draw through it just a bit. Now let's just change the venue. Bit more daring with some of the shapes. cut it back just a bit, run it through, and again, a little indication of some sort of a compass piece. We might minimize it just a bit and put it into place like so, and come back through here. Couple little chevrons in there, maybe it's a little bit of time frame of some sort, and maybe here this has a speaker system here. And again, let's take that right through. This might be the readout area. Put a bit of a shoulder in this thing. More surface to it, run it through just a bit. Cut that back, cut that back. And again, just put a bit of tone in this guy. Got a different pen color here. We can kind of make some distinction here as we go. And then maybe it's just a little bit of red alert alarm system of some sort that does that. Let's change the pace here with this. Again, real quick exploratory material. Not looking for a whole lot of, hey, how you doing, Stuart? Red alert, shields up. Hey, very good. How you good? Good to have you on board, Stuart. Thanks for joining in today. We're just doing some little exploratory thumbnail sketches on something that's kind of fascinating to me. It's wristwatch stuff. You see a lot of things out there that are, for example, very traditional, horizontal, rectangular, vertical, rectangular, rounds, and so forth. There's not a lot of exploratory newness in terms of getting some exciting stuff done with some wristband technology here. So I just thought I'd take a look at wristwatch materials and just looking at maybe a new way of looking at facial graphics and things to deal with and how to work with some of the shapes and forms we're working with here. Let's just kind of really explore this thing. Let's go a little further. Now let's go back to round. Let's fool the viewer a bit here. Let's go through the center line. How you been, Stuart? Staying pretty busy, I'm sure. Super. Hey, see Fitbits. Nice. All right. There we are. Let's go back into this. Let's bring this in a little bit further. So let's take that through right through here and just develop a really kind of interesting little form here. Let's radius this off. Let's make this pretty matter here. Let's kind of roll that out. Let's kind of roll that out. Get some of this in here. There are a couple of nice little jet pieces up on top. That's kind of a neat deal. That maybe where the rewind piece might be. Again, notice how quickly I'm going through some of the shapes here. Just looking at certain forms and surfaces to work with. Good, really raining here the past few days. Keeping an eye on flying. Oh yeah, I hope it's okay. Not good news there, Stuart. Hope it all works out okay for you. Geez, that's kind of scary. Whereabouts are you located again? I'm sorry for inquiring, but whereabouts are you located? Just gonna get this guy. Let's rotate just a bit. Let's roll this in place. Again, really nice little couple of jettison pieces here. Let's put a little of this in place. Just going to put a little bit of that in place. It's going to come back in through. Just get an indication of where that strap system might be. Notice a little girthier piece here at all. But again, looking at possibilities and what ifs. Let's see. Oh, New York. Oh, yeah, boy. Just a lot of rain systems out there. I hope it's all going to be okay for you, though, Stuart. Nice. So there we are. There's a little shot there. Let's come back and then get this guy. Maybe there's a little indicator here of some sort. This kind of a piece to go with. Let's come back in through here. Let's tone this in just a bit. Just ballpoint pen sketch. Notice, really exploratory. I mean, I'm not really trying to get into a lot of situations here where this is really kind of a neat looking, interesting little form. I mean, these are really exploratory pieces about just crossing your fingers. Maybe you find something, maybe we don't. But the idea of the magic of it all to me is just being able to sit down and just freewheel certain things without any pressure in terms of what's got to be this or got to have that. So let's go back and look at this thing again here. Let's put a little bit of split line. So that center line is here. Let's kind of bring that through. A little bit of a graphic piece here. Pardon me, put some weight in this thing. And here again, more density and color here, kind of distinguish the face itself. And then again, a little crosshair thing here. Maybe that changes a little bit of character as well. Maybe that gives me an indication of compass direction of some sort. But again, fun stuff. Little bullseye material here, and looking at again, shape distinction and everything else that goes along with it here. Let's kind of go back and do another little study here. Let's get a little rectangle started. This kind of basic form. I think some of you have followed me enough to know that hopefully in the past, whenever I go through a drawing cycle like this, I'm always thinking in terms of, there's just elevations and there's not a lot of perspective involved in these guys. I'm always looking at platforms and how to build a certain shape. So I will start with a basic platform and then begin to break out of it, pardon me, and put some definition into it. So let's do this. And this is platform. Now I'm going to start breaking it up. Take that through. And again, break it. And then break it. Recess it. And for a split line here. And then just offset the strap here just a bit. I'm going to change the pace here. A bit of a graphic change here into the corners. Let's put a little tint in this thing. Maybe this is a recess here. And it comes around the bend into this. We're going to cut a section through this thing. Kind of look like this. You come through with a section study. You go there, up, into the body, out, and out again. Again, just a nice little section change. That could be kind of fun too. It's a little bit of a bevel change. Doesn't take an awful lot. I mean, I think that's the key thing about the whole process here. When you put this stuff together, it does not take an awful lot. It's just looking at, again, how to break up the face, how to look at certain surfaces around it. Are these different materials? Possibly. Again, I'm not really going to focus in on anything here to say, yeah, this is it or that's it, and be much more definitive with it. Hey, Shadow, how are you, man? Good to see you, Chief. How's everything? Good deal. So these can make you fly. Right? Yeah, these are all flight systems. You got it. It's good to have you on board, Shadow. You've been very busy, so thank you so much for joining in. Hey, Shadow's here. Doc will let anyone in. You know what, Stuart? Between you and I, not really. But I'm glad he's on board, aren't you? Cool. So here we are. Let's go back and a little thumbnail here. Maybe just something else just hit me here. Let's go back to that bevel base. That's that platform. Maybe it's this. Through the center line. Out of that again. Now let's just kind of soften this off just a bit. Maybe it does that. Now let's go a little further, playing up in this theme right here. And then right back out of it again. That's kind of interesting. A little sharp here, but that's okay. We can manage it. Maybe we bulge this back out and give a little more bevel to it. There it is. kind of repeat this, keep that nice and surface. Let's open that up, and let's open that up. Let's put a value change in here. Surface change, a little bit of shadow into this guy so it gives a little bit of recess to it. Let me come back out here with this. Maybe that's the punch set. Reset, reset. Again, strap comes off of this guy. Buries itself inside there, and there it is. And again, these systems should be quick, should be definitive. Here's my readout area. Let's put a little more contact in this guy. Pardon me. Maybe this has a little bit of a texture change to it as well. Just, again, just changing the tempo, getting away from the typical wristband process that we see out there in the marketplace now. So, I don't know, what do you think, guys, so far? Is this making sense for you? I mean, you're looking at some really quick and dirty little sketches here. Looking for freshness, idea, change of materials, different ways to present the facial graphics and information that we're seeing here. So I'll just gotta hold on a bit here and see what you guys think. So this is one of the first passes we'll work with here. So far so good, I think, here, guys. Fun stuff. And again, as I said in the beginning of the stream, I think the thing that's really, these are wild. And yeah, I think the thing that's interesting to me about this whole, the purpose of the stream today is to simply get this point across. We spend so much time trying to perfect the look or the character or the personality of something, and we're not quite sure if we're happy with it. I don't mean to be critical, but that's how some things are put into operation. This stream today is like everything else we've done in the past, opening up the doors in terms of like what the quarterbacks use during games, similar to that. Yeah, screen shapes, and I think that's. I think that back to the point about the whole idea of looking at letting everything go to the side here and just saying, what if we're in the precipice of inventing a wristwatch? What would it look like? It's almost like going back to the very first inception of it all, and beginning to explore new things. And I think all of you realize too, with the technical changes out there now, my goodness, it's infinite what you can do with the liquid crystal, light emitting diodes, electronic systems, sound systems, and on it goes. Materials technology is phenomenal. I mean, carbon fiber, transparent, painted graphics, non-painted graphics, stamped aluminum. It's endless. So these things begin to encompass all that, but I'm not really going to fall in love with anything, for example, at this stage of the game. This is really an exercise in exploratory what if, and there's phase one down. Let's do this and make sure I'm the guilty party here. So there's A. Let's go back and do a little more studying here. There's sketch one. I'll come back to that in a moment here. Let's go back the other way here. Again, platform. Let's set it up. Simple cube. Just a nice face-on elevation. There it is. Now we'll come back in and begin to break this thing down. Now let's take it a step further. Let's bring it in. Create this really nice kind of a hexagonal approach to it. Now let's take that and put a little bit of texture to it. Oh, let me bring this back into play here. It's that to that. To this. And again, this. A bit of a four-corner offense here. Let's go back and then just kind of straighten this up now. A little detail here. A little detail here. Put that in place. Kind of neat. Little facial graphics here. Let's change this pace here just a bit. Did you notice how melodic that line was? I mean, just kind of scratched through it, and there she was. There he is. Hey, oh, geez. Shadowkin. Yeah, subscribed 14 months, currently on a 14-month streak. Yay, very cool. And no sounds. I'll need to fix that. Oh, no sounds? Really? That's odd, because you, can you hear me all right there, gang, or not? I think I was going okay there as far as sound is concerned. The mic is working at this end. Is it all right at that end? We hear you just fine. Oh, okay, good deal. Thanks very much. Yay! It scared me there. I know I put that thing on when I started here, so there it is. A little bit more tint, a little bit more surface working through here. And again, let's go the other way. Strap graphics. There we are. Just a little look at what we're after here. Let's go back in and go over here. Again, platform base. Let that down. Basically a rectangular shape. Let's crown it just a bit. Open that up. Center line. Draw that through. Strap. Orientation. Just kind of nice and loosely here. Lay that in. Let's break it into that, there and there. And now let's just take this guy. I really want to emphasize here, as we're going, as I started the stream today, was this. Really lucid sketches. I mean, just really quick and dirty, nothing really fanciful here, nothing perfected, just looking at exploratory what ifs and just drawing through this stuff. Maybe that's where the time frame is. Let's kind of bring down the scale. How about that? You don't need an awful lot. And just see it right on the end cap there. There it is. Just kind of sneaks up, and there she be. Just the alert sounds, not where alert. Oh, okay. Thanks very much. I have to get that squared away. Super. Again, just a real quick little series of sketches. Maybe this guy just changes pace. That's where the actual sound system is going to be. And this might be a simple indication of graphics. Again, here. A bit of sound system here. And all works. And again, a bit of a graphic band, and a little bit of tone. I mean, again, I really want to really emphasize the sloppiness of these sketches. I mean, there's really nothing here that I'm going to say, oh, this is going to go to the Louvre. Not at all. It's just going to be one of those faces where you're just going to crank like mad, have fun, look at what ifs and how comes. Maybe the combination of material changes here. That's going to be yet to come, and maybe the elevation changes too. We start to get into perspective. I might take this a little bit further sometime next week, maybe Tuesday or Thursday, and go into some perspective studies of these things to take a look at where the changes of surface might be, where the lofts are going to go, and so we'll keep that in the back of our pocket here for the time being. So let's go back in again. Nice little circle. Bring that out of play here. Now let's really get daring with this thing. bit of sound system on this end. Maybe that's where the phonetics might become here. Hey, Stuart, I like the third idea. This one? This is kind of interesting or not? Is that the one you're referring to, Stuart? Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a twist, isn't it? I mean, again, if you look at if you have a wrist system here, yeah, that's the one I think this would be a really radical change of pace here. So let's kind of play up on this guy. Let's put a little bit of surface change in this beauty. Run that through. And again, pick up a little bit of time in this guy. Bit of a compass system here. Let that go first. Now let's come out of that with a nice little change of pace here. Then one of the things we really overlook in putting this stuff together often is the fact that when you look at certain, like the wrist, for example, maybe it's better, the orientation of the eyes, it might be a little bit of an angle, downhill or uphill. Something in this case, it's more of an uphill system. So let's see what takes place here. More fill in here. More recessing down through here. A bit of a stripe change in here. And there's band. I mean, that can be kind of interesting, I think, in terms of, yeah, Doc uses every weapon. Doug Red, wow, a Bic marker. Yeah, well, kind of a Bic marker. I'm not sure there, Doug, but you'd be the doctor in case of that. Let's go back and get really bold with this thing here. Let's go back into here. Good to have me on board, Doug, and everybody. Boy, I really enjoy you guys having some FaceTime with you guys. I kind of chat about this stuff that we're doing here. Let's go hexagonal here. Open this up. Let's go the other way. A little diagonal color and banding in here. That might be a light optic kind of piece. It changes color throughout the course of the day. It starts out green when it's all set to go, and then maybe switches gears and goes to red when it needs to be charged or whatever. Another little look at it here. Just kind of fun stuff to deal with. Let's just take this thing here, set up a little sound system here. Draw right through it. It's kind of framed out a little bit here. Just neat stuff, guys. I mean, just again, very explosive. What if? How come? Mistakes are made. Yeah. So what? I'm not looking at, for example, perfection here. We're looking at shape identification and some icon work to kind of work with. Just really neat stuff to deal with in terms of putting it all together. So let me stop here for a second, guys. I hope this is coming across okay. Is it coming along all right here, Stuart, Doug, Shadow? So far, so good. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things going on here from my point of view, but I'm going to make sure I'm communicating clearly with you guys. Hey, hi, Chip. How you doing, man? Good to have you on board. Doing some wristwatch stuff here. Just looking at some thanks for joining in here. Exploratory, some work on just wristband studies, getting away from the typical rounds and rectangular pieces we see in the marketplace now. You missed the watch with rockets on it. We'll have to do a missile special for them now. Hey, that's how you doing, man? We'll have to do that for you, Chip. We'll do one with a nice little missile system on it. How's that? That'd be cool. So let's go back in through here. Pick it up again. Maybe a dead front panel here. Timepiece readout. Same little compass deal here. Let's change the character here. Let's do this. Little shadow work in here. Strap appendage. And let it go at that. Again, notice real quick, real strong graphics and so forth. I mean, this sort of looks like a missile launcher. So I'm hey, good there. So yeah, it's a kind of, you can kind of fire out on that direction. That'll do it. That's pretty cool. Pretty orderly pattern in the sketches here. Sorry about that, guys. It's not as random. This is where we started here, Chip. Let's give you a little bit of an overview here. That's where we started with this guy. We just got to put that into place and got that moving along pretty nicely here. And went from that page one to this page here, and a really interesting material here. Hang on a second here, guys. Excuse me just a moment. I think I just dropped a marker. I'll be right back. Hey, thanks very much. Sorry about that. I just dropped the marker and some little battle plan study here. So thanks very much for your patience. Sorry for the disappearance here. Runaway marker. Yeah, they do that sometimes, Chip. So there's phase two, and let's just kind of get this started here. That's phase two. We'll come back and review these in a moment here. And just for what it's worth, let's go through a nice last little phase here. Just kind of keep exploring this whole idea of some newness things here. Let's go back in through here. A little bit of product down here. There it is. A little platform set. Let's go into the corners here. Little center section here. That might be readout. Different way of looking at it. Sound material here. Again, notice how quickly I'm moving through some of these surfaces just to get an idea of what might be taking place as far as where the lofts are concerned. There's a highlight and shadows and the like. Just really interesting. You know, I like screens. Hey, Doc, try one with the multiple screens. All right, there they are. Multiple screens. That sounds like a winner. How about if we did this? I'm going to finish this guy up here, shadow. I'm going to look at it here. Indicator, indicator, indicator. It's going to let's reinforce this thing here. See where the shadows are going to go. So we got that guy. Sound up on top there. Interesting little configuration here. Let's carry that through as a recess. And again, lens. And again, section cut. Up, in, the normal, up, and out again. Really interesting how that whole thing just kind of flows up, back in, flush, back up, and out again. Just a little bit more of a, trying to take advantage of more interest in terms of shape and some concert in terms of indicators at the corners. Yeah, just interesting about looking at again how shape can kind of influence, and there's not a lot of section work and a lot of watches out there. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Just maybe looking at today, maybe the possibility of getting a little more dimension to this stuff is what we want to work with here. So let's do the multiple screen bit for the Shadow Man here. What do you think of this one, Shadow? We're going to come back in and do this. Let's do this. Let's come back in and let's get the speedometer, the tack, and the temperature. Go button. Stop button. Compass. Temperature. Now the coup de grace. The time frame. Inside a dish. Alla Ferrari. That's 800 RPMs. How's that, Shadow? You could sell that at the next Bugatti. Yeah, that's kind of cool, wouldn't it? I'm like, you think it'll be nice. How about that? That's a triple seater there. That's kind of a fun-looking shape there, really. I mean, stop and think about it. Nice. Interesting. You have multiple screens. You got it there in all one wrap. It can go that direction and that direction with a scrap. But I think that's kind of a neat little process to work with there, my man. Good deal. Let's go back in there and do a little variation on theme here. Back to Stuart's favorite shape here. But yeah, let's restrict it just a bit. Dark that thing in. Dark that thing in. Pull this back just a touch. Take that on over. Let's bring this in. The rewind spot here, just got to have a little texture on that guy, and let this become part of the readout here. There we are, another little thumbnail study there. Hey, Stuart, hey, how about that? Interesting little shape. That one goes back to the one you liked a little bit earlier, but just kind of flatten it out a little bit more, Stuart. So, pardon, let's try this. Let's horseshoe this thing a little bit further here. I'm ready to get radical. Sound up on top. A little bit of this tone in through here. strap attachment. There you go. Another little form study there, guys. There it is. Let's see. This is a slick shape. Hey, pretty neat. Just nice little form study there. And then last but not least, let's do this. Go back to something a little more traditional. Again, notice, really quick and lucid sketches here, guys. I mean, there's really no, just interesting how those, let's see, the chip 7, now those are some fast clocks. Some really fast clocks. Yeah, I hope it makes sense. So let me get this organized here, guys, for a second here. I hope this made some sense to all of us here. I think I'm going to stop right there at this stage of the game and just kind of look at the overview here. I think it's really paramount to look at. Again, every now and then you get into a certain. I had a good friend of mine tell me a long time ago that really, when you get into a rut, by definition, a rut is really a grave with the ends kicked out. And I think that's really a great description of it. Sometimes you get into a rut in terms of the same shape, the same form, the same thing, the same view, the same overall everything, and it begins to just kind of, it wears on you a little bit. And I think that's the thing I like to do day to day. I just break out on certain things and put all certain tradition aside and just go over the edge and say, you know, what if? And I don't think we do enough of that, quite honestly. And again, the purpose of the stream today was to kind of tune us into how really interesting it is to just kind of let everything go and not be concerned about packaging, components, etc. There's a way to get there. I think some of these things we've done here, let's go back to phase one. Let's kind of set them up here. We started here with a series of sketches, and this was the first pass we did. Just nice, very conventional, looking at different shapes and forms, bring a little more section to it, maybe put a more character to it. I think it might be interesting too, and for some future streams, to look at this thing and start to put it in some perspective. I mean, what would it look like, for example, if you took some of these guys and began to say, all right, now let's get rid of this guy for a second. What if we took one of these shapes, and just for what it's worth, real quickly, let's kind of give you a little advent of what might be coming here. What if we did this? What if we took that same form and said, all right, what's coming is this? And in that, we might have this. And in that, you might have this. And that is where that readout is going to be. I mean, that's a very simplified shape here, but look at this, look at the contour. Let's kind of section through this thing. This, down to this, and out of that valley, and back in the center line again. And that's a pretty straightforward shot, I realize. But again, we come the other way. Up, in, across the valley, up again, and into a contour. I mean, look at the difference in context there, for what it's worth. Let's put a little bit of tone in this thing now. Let's say this is where the readout is. Let's put a shape in this thing first. Let's put a little bit of break in here, come across, a little bit of break in through here. A lot of valley here. I don't know about you guys, but I put that on my wrist. Salutations, happy thanks. Real shadow can. Hey, very cool. No noises. Hey, ooh, kazoo noises. Yeah. How's that sound there, guys? Does that make sense? I mean, that's what potentially. Let's get one of these shapes here. That's potentially what that one might look like. For example, this guy. Oh, pardon me here. Let's do this. This guy here might have some sort of remnants of that in perspective. And that's what's coming. I mean, I think that's the kind of stuff I think is really intriguing about when it all comes together, about getting into some exploratory materials in terms of looking at new ways of seeing how things begin to function. So let me go back to where I started here. This is the last guy. Let's get these guys rounded out here. Let's see, there's 1, 2, and then 3. Let's see, 1. Yeah, this is where we started. Real shadow. Okay, what is this? I love seeing what you draw in a perspective like you just did, Doc. It really helps understand the shading and shading. Yeah, I think that might be a good exercise for this series to come. I mean, I think there's a lot. What I've discovered here throughout the course of this session is really this. In doing an elevation series, by the way you treat the pen and by the way you handle some of the surfaces, lights and darks, begins to tell you where the elevation changes are, what section is going to be taking place. So that might be a good exercise. You have to come back in and do some pretty neat looking stuff here in terms of what the forms are doing in perspective. So this is how we started, a very simple platform series of rectangular shapes, and a little bit of round and a little bit of variation in the theme here. So that was sketch 1, page 1 rather. Page 2 into this, where we actually explored a little bit more of the favorite Stewart special here. Interesting, neat stuff, how it all begins to work together. Again, same basic platform start, but just breaking it up. And again, as I said in the very beginning of the stream an hour ago, it really is going to be dependent upon looking at new ways of breaking up a shape. And again, a lot of risk, yes. A lot of chance being taken, absolutely. But that's where the newness is. You don't take those chances. No risk, no reward. It's as simple as that. And I think that's the thing I'm looking for here. To kind of, not only the joy of being able to just sit down with a pen and crank it up and just have fun with it. It's in addition to that, it's what the fun begins to produce. It's a newness factor. It's a freshening. It keeps us open. It certainly is. It never traps us in terms of, well, the same old habit. As I said earlier, I think it's so true. I've used this often in speaking engagements, and I think it's an absolute fact. A rut is nothing more than a grave with the ends kicked out. We don't want to live there. We just want to open up new exploratory, turn over the turf every now and then. Look at, I've often said this, it's really interesting how we need to understand space. Like that was just an analogy here. We need to understand space and geometry like the back of our hand. We never see this. We always see this. But when we turn it around, all of a sudden things begin to change. And I think that's what we're after here today from the stream. Hey, Doug, if you're still there, is this helping at all since you're there day-to-day down there in the trenches with the ITT guys? Anything helpful here? I'll just wait for a response here before I carry on and kind of wrap things up here today. Great stuff. This has been fun. I just enjoy the lucid side of it all. It's just really interesting how it all comes together. There's no greater joy than to pick up a pen and make a mess. Really cool. So there's sketch number 2. And the last one here we did was this guy here. And I forgot to do this, the ownership side. There we are there. That was the third pass we did. Just a whole series of simply, I can make a lot of messes on it. Yeah, so can I, Shad. I just proved it here throughout the course of the day. But again, Doug, if you're still there, let me know what you think here, Chief. And in addition to Shadow, really helpful. Stuart, great to have you on board, and Chip as well. Thanks so much for joining for today. It was as I said, I regretted on not being able to stream on Tuesday because of some complications and timing and meetings and the like. But really interesting how I got back in sync today. It was just good to have some FaceTime back on the screen and just cranking out some things to kind of go through the process of hopefully being creative. So once again, gang, so helpful. Lots of fun. We'll pick this thing up maybe next week and do some perspective studies. Maybe put a little bit of media to it too, so we can see some color changes and some texture changes. But thank you so much for joining me today. And again, if you have a moment, then can take a moment to visit my website at drcontrast.com, looking at the drawing programs that are there. Also on that same account is my Instagram account, my Twitch series, and my YouTube stuff. So feel free to take a look at it. Let me know what you think. And I always really appeal to this. It's really interesting too, folks. And I really appreciate if you take a moment, if you've got things you'd like to see me illustrate or go through a process on or draw or illustrate, be happy to help there. Reach out to me at jim@drcontrast.com. I'll be happy to help. And last but not least, I really think I'm trying to build the audience here, folks. So if you pass the word along, but I'm on live stream on Tuesday, Thursdays, and so on. I'd love to be able to just build the audience more so to have more of an impact on people who want to become more tuned into the drawing cycle of life. And last but not least, I will tune off with this, and I think it's really important stuff. Really, always very significant to me. It's the most important part of the stream. It's this. Never forget to dare. Never forget to remember to dare to be great, because you are. I mean, you are the people that make it matter here. So thank you so much for joining in. Take care of yourself. All the very best. Take care, guys, and we'll see you next Tuesday. All of the best. Thank you. Bye-bye now.